idiots. Which one? All of them. The entire system is congested with idiots. I think they will break our spirit. We will never be broken our spirit. We are going to continue fighting for the rights of our citizens.
Chokwadi pasi pano taiona moto marongera vanoita wepanyika vanoda kudisi vamwe tioneswe moto dai pasina kupindira kwaishe nechokwadi pasi pano taiona moto marongera vanoita wepanyika vanoda kudisi vamwe tioneswe moto dai pasina kupindira kwaishe kana dzimba dzedu dzingadai dziri dzavo mawanzira vanoita dzimba dzavo vanoda kuti isu vamwe tigare mumiti dzimba 10 pamunhu mumwe chete vanoda kuti isu vamwe tigare mumiti dzimba 10 pamunhu mumwe chete vanoda kuti isu vamwe tigare mumiti dai pasina kupindira kwaishe nechokwadi pasi pano taiona moto taiona moto marongera vanoita wepanyika vanoda kuti isu vamwe tioneswe moto dai pasina kupindira kwaishe nechokwadi pasi pano taiona moto marongera vanoita wepanyika vanoda.
Welcome to the situation right now, the premium current affairs show in the country, where we discuss the geopolitical situation in Zimbabwe, the issues that you're supposed to care about, the issues that you're supposed to worry you, interest you. This is the situation right now. Now, in the turn of the year, we have seen the human rights situation in the country, according to human rights watchers and observers, deteriorating. Arrests, unwarranted arrests, according to Human Rights Watch, has been on the increase. Political detentions and pre-trial detentions have caused a worry. According to the Zimbabwe Lawyers for Human Rights, the Zimbabwe NGO Forum, and other watchdogs. We've seen the arrest and incarceration of Honorable Job Sikhala, the Vice President of the MDC Alliance. We've seen the arrest and incarceration of Joanna Mamombe, Cecilia Chimbila, and Netai Marwa. We've also seen Opochino being a frequent visitor of Chikurubi Maximum Prison. Now, this afternoon, to understand how these issues affect other people, how they feel going through that process, and their views of the political, economic discourse of this country, I'm joined by a member of parliament and the MDC Alliance Vice President, Honorable Job Sikhala. Sikhala at his home, where we discuss these issues. Thank you very much for joining me, Honorable.
No, thank you very much, Dara. Blessed Mhlanga. Happy to have another interview with you.
Yes.
And I hope today is going to be one of those interviews we engage most of the times, where citizens will be able to learn what things that are happening in our country, and also understand the political developments as we end at 2021, and also the projection of the future, and also why human rights situation in our country is deteriorated to the level which it is reached at the moment.
Now let's just cut into the chase. You were arrested just recently and you spent a number of days, around 18 days in Chikurubi.
You know, we have been alleged to have contravened a section that deals with a deliberate spreading of falsehoods intentionally, and also over the issue that there was a Facebook post bearing my name, which posted a comment over the brutality which was exposed to a child. But specifically, after having gone through the comment on the Facebook page, it did not specify anyone. It did not mention the police. It only talked about using a battleship to kill a 9-year-old child, and it is contrary to the state case where they say there is no child who is 9 months old. There is a 3-week or 4 weeks old child who is alleged to have died but did not. So specifically, this is what happened. And also going through the process we went is that we firstly applied for our liberty at the Magistrates Court in Shitong. That I observed myself was that was false, because those evidence and facts were not laid in court. It's still a bizarre to me today on where the magistrate extracted those findings from, for they were neither available before him on the wholesome evidence that was presented in court before him.
So let us talk about this issue that you're talking about, that this evidence was not addressed in court, but it found itself in the court papers anyhow. How does this reflect on the justice system?
No, it did not. It did not find itself in the court, but it only found itself on the judgment by the magistrate. It is manufactured evidence, and in terms of the administration of justice in our country and the integrity of the judicial system, it undermines the confidence of the public in the dispensary of justice in our country. So the first thing that you quickly comes to your mind, I think I've thought about it for a long time when I was even in prison, on how to deal with such situations where you find yourself being put in an awkward position on the basis of the creation of a judicial officer. There are 3 remedies that are available to me for me to obtain justice over the manufactured evidence which the magistrate relied upon for him to deny my liberty for a period of 26 days in Chikuru maximum prison. I would not have minded to have been denied bail, just as usual and expected in most cases, that when we are applying bail at lower costs, we have never obtained joy. What I could not have been worried at all if I could have been denied bail on the grounds of the evidence and facts which the state has advanced in court. That evidence which the magistrate relied upon was never adduced in court. Even when the investigating officer of my matter was brought to court, in all his evidence, I've gone through the record several times, trying to find that evidence where the magistrate relied upon, that evidence is elusive in the record of proceedings in the court. So there are three remedies that are available to me. There is a disgruntled citizen of the country whose dispensary of justice is also available to every citizen of this country. Section 56 of our Constitution allows the citizens of the country to be protected by the law, no matter your political affiliation, your religious belief, or your sex, or whatever considerations. So despite coming from a weak position, where I am regarded as an opponent and critic of the state, the law is also inclined to protect myself from abuse.
So what are the three?
So the three options that are available to me as remedies for me to seek redress to the misdirection which the magistrate did over these manufactured evidence to a judicial officer malafide, that is not in good faith. So it is very clear in my case, after having studied the entire evidence that was laid in court and also the ruling of the magistrate, that the ruling was malafide. It was not based in logic. It was not based in terms of the law. It was based on his manufactured evidence. The third remedy that is also available to me is for me to seek, in terms of Section 69 of the Constitution, the recusal of the same magistrate to continue hearing my case on the basis of, the right of an individual to a fair trial. The right to a fair trial is one of those unlimited rights that are provided for in terms of our new Constitution. 86, Section 86 is very clear that the right to a fair trial is a right that is available to each and every citizen of our country. So I don't think having had the precedent where the judicial officer denied myself liberty based on his manufactured evidence, I'm going to inform my legal practitioners, Alson Gomo, Jeremiah Bamu, and Paidamoyo Sauronde, for them to make an application for the recusal of the same judicial officer from continuing to hear my case on the basis that I have lost the confidence in that I'm going to get a fair trial before him. Clearly, with the background that I have alluded to you, I don't think I will be able to get a free and fair judicial process and a fair trial before him.
In what you're saying, that the aspect of getting a fair trial, you've argued in court that this charge that is before the court was scraped off by the Constitutional Court. So now you're talking about accessing a fair trial. Are you looking at going through the trial process?
No, the issue that is there is are two different. Currently, there are already charges that I am on remand, and already I've been put on remand on those charges that are unconstitutional. It's very true and very correct, like what you are saying, that we have been charged with a law that has been declared null and void by our own National Constitutional Court. It's one of those cases that are that have been first to be determined by our Constitutional Court after the promulgation of the new Constitution in 2023. In the circumstances, you take two prolonged ways of approaching this matter, which is currently on remand, and also taking the decision of upholding that the law is constitutional, like what those magistrates have done. But also, what you have to understand is that our Constitution provides that the only court with the jurisdiction to interpret the constitutionality of a question or to make determination on a constitutional question is only the High Court and the Constitutional Court. So the magistrates were not supposed to make a ruling on a matter which they understand in terms of the Constitution, they don't have the jurisdiction for them to determine a question of a constitutional issue. A constitutional issue can only be determined by the High Court and the Constitutional Court. So we are taking two prolonged approaches. One, challenging this matter, which we are on remand at the appropriate forums, and also challenging the constitutionality of the law that we are being charged. So already the papers for us to challenge the constitutionality of the charges that we are facing, to see whether it is revived itself to be part and parcel of the current status in our country. The motion is already taking place. We are taking the challenge to the Constitutional Court, and we have also taken the decision which the magistrates did in giving an adverse ruling vis-a-vis our challenge to the constitutionality of that provision in the magistrates court for review to the High Court. So basically, these are the two issues that we are currently taking. So people must understand it from the legal point of view, that already we are on remand, being remanded on a non-existent law, and we must have an approach to deal with the issues of being remanded by the magistrates court, and also the issue of challenging the constitutionality of that statutory provision.
Do you think your arrest, detention, and the denial of freedom
of the reasons why the state has been on our back for no apparent reason at all?
But
it seems that certain individuals are being targeted, and they are consistently become subjects and objects of state abuse. And this is now very clear to everybody, both in Zimbabwe, domestically and internationally. The international community now knows the reasons why we are being persecuted, and we are going to share our released security assessment document on the reasons why these people are fighting us.
Why did you go on social media and make statements that were not verified?
You cannot allege me to have gone on social media to make a statement to bring us on remand. And there is nothing which suggests that the appellant has talked about the police. He said there is absolutely no way, and there is no evidence, and this is the weakest case that I've ever come across, where a person is accused of things that he did not do. So don't miss what the judge observed. It's very critically clear at every given time that when those people blessed with the talent to interpret our statutes speak, we must be able to understand the important meaning of it. The meaning is very clear that I have never, ever talked or commented about a police officer who is killed. I want them to show me where I have ever spoken in the social media about a police officer killing a 3-year-old baby. And also, secondly, the freedom of expression is one of the fundamental rights that are protected and the cornerstone of every democratic society. It affects across the spectrum of our society, including you, Dara Blessed Mhlanga. You are a journalist. Beware living in undemocratic outfits where everything that you say is censored. A regime that is afraid of critics is an illegitimate regime. So clearly, you must understand that the right for us to fight for the right to freedom of expression is one that is based on our conviction as a civilized society. We are now in the 21st century.
The allegations that you face with that the alleged publication of falsehoods that you did, the alleged publication, brought contempt on the police. Do you think that the police have integrity? The Zimbabwean police, as it stands, has integrity even to talk about?
Whatever the views, people of Zimbabwe have got their different views vis-a-vis the conduct of our police officers.
I want to talk about your view based on the conduct that they have held on you.
I'm going to give you my own personal view.
Yes.
That are based on logic. I have been, in contact with police officers myself as an officer of the court. You have to understand that I'm a practicing legal practitioner. And in most of my job and work, I'm always in contact with police officers at police stations where I go and represent accused persons. I've been to almost several police stations in Harare where I've gone to go and represent accused persons as a legal practitioner. During the carrying out of my job of description, I found police officers to be very good people. They come and assist, and you do your cases in so much a civilized way. But however, there are rogue elements in each and every organization, and there are those who want to make their master happy by abusing of other people. There is no doubt that even among the police officers, there are elements who are rogue, those who enjoy human rights abuses, those who can be used by the state to abuse our citizenry. We have seen many people who have lost lives through the recklessness of the conduct of the police officers. We have seen many people being arrested for no apparent reason. There are multitude of lawsuits against the police over unlawful arrests, over arrests based on absolutely nothing, and some based on extortion, and others who have been abusing people. You have seen some kicking a woman as if he's Ronaldo trying to score a goal. We have seen people being bashed and beaten all over in town by the police officers. Those are people whom we should question their integrity, whether they are qualified for them to be law enforcement agencies in our country or not. But however, like what I earlier said, some of the police officers whom we are always in contact with, when we are at work, when we are doing our job-based lawyers, are very positive and good police officers. So like in any organization, there are bad apples and good apples. So this is the definition and my own personal view, as far as the description of the police officers is concerned.
You have a lawsuit that is pending against police officers who allegedly abducted you at a police station.
Very correct. The lawsuit is still pending in the High Court. I was discussing with my legal practitioner, Jeremiah Bamo, that I was worried about the quantum of damage which we put at $3 million during the period when the RTGS was equated 1:1 with the US dollar. So we need to file further